Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for tuning in today to Lions Talk Live Wednesday edition. And you know what? We got some news yesterday. I'm sure most of you saw. I tried to go live as quick as I could once I got done with practice to tell you that Tracy Walker is no longer going to be a Detroit Lion. Sad to say, but hey, it's nature of the business. Sometimes when you get paid a little too much and you fall out of your position as a starting safety in the NFL, you know what? Teams start having to make business decisions, and a business decision was made with Tracy Walker III. Unfortunately for him, hey, a great player, a great person, great teammate, but he was supplanted. I'm going to say we could all surmise by two younger players who cost far less. And you know what? In a game of inches, those inches added up, and the Detroit Lions had to make a business decision to move on. Now, not probably telling you something you don't already know. The Lions are going to save about roughly $5.5 million by doing so. The big question is going to be, as you can tell from today's thumbnail, where are the Lions going to go from here? Are they going to cut anybody else? Or what are they going to do with the money they're saving? Are they just keeping it on the books for re-signing players? Or is this a sign the Detroit Lions could be potentially setting up for when free agency begins to make a splash move after a player? I guess time will only tell. But before we get into all the comments and thoughts about today's topic, I do want to just go through a few things. Most of you have watched the Dude Crew in the morning show. This is going to be nothing new to you. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that push to get to 5,900 subs. And we're about roughly 60 subs or somewhere around there away. If you also enjoy the content of the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. As you probably already know, it helps the channel out exponentially. Last but never least, just because I have bills to pay just like everybody else, if you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, give me a call, shoot me a text. Go ahead and shoot me an old school, letter in the mail, whatever works best for you. Go ahead and reach out to me and let me see what I can do for you. Use over 30 years of experience in the industry to your behest. Try to save you some money on either that new home you want, selling that home you want to go buy some property to build or hunt on or whatever, business opportunity, business building. Go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text. Let me see what I can do to help you out. If you're outside the state of Michigan, you can still contact me and maybe I can point you in the right direction. All right, let's go ahead and get today's show. See what you guys have to say about Tracy Walker, the Detroit Lions. And man, is this a tell to what Brad Holmes is thinking for the team? Where he's potentially going to take the next move for the Detroit Lions? Are there some other potential cap casualties? That's why I guess if you guys ask me that, I'm gonna go ahead and assume a few people will ask that. I'm just not seeing a lot of obvious ones at this point. A lot of the big money names that probably were dead weight on the roster last year, they're no longer here, and that's your Harris Jr., obviously Tracy Walker now, Romeo Quara, among a couple other people. I get there's been some publications out there that put out there a few other potential options to be cut from the team, like James Mitchell, the tight end still on his rookie deal. Yes, I get it would save about $1 million in cap space, but don't forget, you cut him, you're going to have to re-sign somebody. Really, how much are you going to save between either drafting another tight end or signing a free agent tight end? So to me, that $1 million that sounds like you'd be saving probably end up, maybe if you do it right, maybe a couple $100,000. I just don't think there'd be a big savings there. Also, another one that was pointed out or suggested as an option would be Levi Onwuzurike. Again, you'd save about $2 million here, but if you're going to bring in a veteran, especially to take that spot, that saving is not going to hold water. You're going to end up reinvesting that money, if not a little bit more, into a veteran presence. So at least with those two, I don't really see those as potential options unless you're going to bring in somebody even cheaper on rookie deals. And I think you're running into a dicey situation if you're trying to save just a couple $100,000 on particular players. If the Lions are going to move on, I think it's going to have to be from a little bit more cost-effective measures. All right, let's see what you guys have to say, though. Mike the Marine, what do you got? Howdy, Dan, Lions faithful. New photo and name. All right, I like it. I like the photo and like the name. And good to see you in the chat. Hopefully, having a great one. Boo, good morning, Duke Crew. Simplify, Gunny. from one gunny to another. And hopefully you're both having a great day. Boo, Mike, thank you for all you've done for the country and your service. Mike, hoorah, brother. There you go. All right, Jason agrees. Salutations, crew! Exclamation point. Heading to Colorado to ski. I'll be back Tuesday morning. Superdome or bust. And Jason, man, you seem to ski quite often, so I'm guessing you're pretty decent at it. And unfortunately for me, I'm fairly not decent at it. In fact, I'm about as far from decent as you could find in the dictionary in definitions. So either way, man, hopefully you have a great time. Go out there and enjoy. Boo, Superdome or bust, exclamation point, 100%. Hey, the mission this year, we've had a taste of the NFC title game. We've had some playoff wins. I would say this at this point, all eyes, all thoughts for next season have to be focused on one thing: getting to the promised land, getting to the Super Bowl, which means you got to get to the Superdome. And you know what? You probably don't want to buy a ticket for it. You want to probably earn the way to the Superdome through the playoffs and the regular season. So you know what? 100%. Lions are on a mission this year, and that mission is to go somewhere they have not been since 1957. That's the Super Bowl, even though it wasn't called the Super Bowl then. So you get the gist. All right, Jason, thank you for your service, gentlemen. 100%, yes. Anybody who served in the military, anybody who served in the forces, you know what? Go ahead and, if you got nothing else to do today, if you see someone like that, go ahead and say thank you to them. They probably don't get enough thanks. And you know what? It's never going to be bad currency to go out there and give somebody a hug who's put their life on the line so you can enjoy the life you now have. So the food for your thoughts today. All right, Kurt, great salutations all. Are there some other possible targets to be cut? I listed a few, and I get there's others. There's just none that I would think readily off the top of my head that would be obvious cut casualties or candidates, maybe I should say. The Lions roster is fairly lean when it comes to cost at this point. Tracy Walker, I think we all saw that one coming, or at least potentially coming, just because he had lost the starting spot. He was making on his own more than Kirby Joseph and Ife Melifano combined. So therein lies a problem. If I'm running a team, what are you going to pay a backup? Good guy or not, is his production still there? We talked ad nauseum throughout the season about Tracy Walker. Great teammate, great leader, but just not great in coverage. In fact, I'd say he's below average in coverage. So therein lies the question. What are you going to do with Tracy Walker? Can you use him just as a situational piece? I made the argument maybe you can move him to weak side linebacker, but the problem there is, since this team clearly wants to focus on stopping the run first and forcing teams to try to be as one-dimensional offensively as possible, Tracy Walker doesn't fit that bill. You could make an argument James Houston doesn't fit that bill just because his weakest aspect of his game is defending the run. So with all that being said, you got to pick your poisons. And Tracy Walker just wasn't a poison the Lions were going to take. And not that he's poisonous, but just for the sake of this analogy. So he was cut. You look across the rest of the team, and I just don't see there's any real candidates out there. Alex Anzalone is probably not going anywhere. Cam Sutton is not going anywhere. Alex Anzalone has played fairly well. I think most people would say his time here in Detroit. In fact, it's probably elevating from season to season. Cam Sutton, while I get a lot of us bemoaned him in the playoffs for his coverage, I think most of us, now that we've had a little time, can also say the guy's not a number one corner. We get that. But would he be a good number 2 or 3 corner? I would say most of us would probably concur with that. And if you're going to get rid of him, what are you going to do to replace him? That's the other part. Tracy Walker's replacements were already here and playing. So if you guys have other thoughts on that, though, let me know. Drake, good morning, everyone. So if we are freeing up money from Walker, would this indicate we have a target or targets for that money? That will be the big question, Drake, is that what are we going to do with that money? Are we going to reinvest it into current players on the roster as we resign them to longer term deals? Or is this the first sign that maybe we're getting ready to potentially sign a bigger name free agent when free agency begins? That's something we're all going to have to speculate on. Boo. So who's next on the chopping block? Question mark. I have seen some mentions of Rodrigo. I hope that's not the case. I would, Boo, I would think not, just because he plays special teams. He plays offense to some degree this year. And he's a more than capable linebacker. It's just there are better options out there. He's great against the run. I would say normally against the pass is not his strength. And with that being said, he got an interception in the NFC title game. So I would think, especially where he was drafted, knowing his boy, I can't even talk. His cap number, how about that? Structure is the word I was going for. I would think he's probably not going anywhere just because, again, sort of like when I talked about Onwuzurike and James Mitchell, you cut him. What are you really saving? Because even if you go out and draft somebody similar, as far as the cap numbers, you're saving peanuts over a guy who's now got a couple years in the NFL and is multidimensional. All right, Michael, we got greetings and salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! The first woo of the day. Enjoy your day, Michael. Jason, Rodrigo has an engine. Love that guy. Yeah, I don't see him going anywhere. I would be pretty stunned if they end up cutting him. And again, for what reason? You'd be saving kind of pennies on the dollar, and that's I would think just not a big enough return. Tess, good morning, all. Lions about to. Alika's a move, coach. Make a move, maybe. I don't know. Not that I'm aware of. How about that? There is some potential that this is all prelude to something bigger, but I have no inside knowledge or anything like that today. All right, what do you got? Eduardo, why would they cut Rodrigo? Question mark. He costs nothing, is the best tackler on the team, and plays all three phases. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at with things. If you were to cut him, it just would be, why would you cut him? It's not like he's a distraction to the team. It's not like he can't play special teams or offense or defense. So, yeah, I would really question why if that were to happen. Bergs, good morning, Coach. Great show. Love what you do. Haha, I see what you did there. And, yeah, thanks for that, Bergs. Love the Duke Crew. Love everybody who gets up here in the mornings and starts their day with Lions Talk Live. So hopefully you're having a great one, my friend, as well. Eduardo, how would we react if Brad does absolutely nothing in free agency and uses the first-round pick on a receiver? Here's the real question I would have for you, Eduardo, and everybody watching the show this morning. Whatever Brad Holmes chooses to do, is anybody really going to question it? I mean, this guy for 3 straight years now has done nothing but hit home runs out of the park, the cover off the ball. I mean, he's gone Roy Hobb. If some of you at least know that reference from the movie The Natural or in the book The Natural. So if that's the way he went, I guess I'd probably I'm caught off guard. I'm surprised, but he's earned the credibility, I guess, to be able to do something like that. And I guess I would have to take a wait and see approach. But you do bring up a good point that where are we at with the relationship with Brad Holmes at this time? Mike, what do you got? From your music tailgates, as they say, you need more cowbell. There you go. I will try to get more cowbell. Yes, that's what this show needs. Absolutely. All right, Robert, greetings and salutations all. Back at you, buddy. Hopefully having a good morning. Eduardo, I just feel like the more I think about it, if we don't resign Jonah, whoever we bring in needs to be better than him day one. Green Bay's defensive tackle bullied our guards without Jonah. That's why I'd rather resign him. So I guess here's my question, Eduardo and everybody. Are you getting rid of Tracy Walker to free up money to re-sign Jonah Jackson? What are you willing to pay Jonah Jackson? I get we all know the reports about St. Brown being somewhere between 20, 25, maybe 26 million a year. I'm going to guess Jonah Jackson's going to get about 20 or so. I mean, at least in that conversation. So right there, let's just assume there's 45 mil between those two guys. Don't hold me to this because I'm doing it off the top of my head and I haven't had my morning dew yet. But I'm going to guess that with yesterday's cut, we're probably around 65 million in cap space, give or take. So that leaves you 15 mil. If I'm doing it right in my head, 15 to 20 mil. You're going to have to sign all your draft picks. So let's say that takes you down to 7 or 8 mil. Yeah, you don't got a ton of money left. And there's where the problems start really becoming. Who do you re-sign at that value? And let's be fair, you're going to have to keep probably 4 to 5 million on the books for in season in case you need to bring in players. So food for thoughts. You guys let me know yours. All right, Boo, what do you got? Mike Evans' name is tossed around as potential target. If the price is right, maybe. Price is right, yeah, potentially, for sure. But sort of like I'm alluding to, if you're going to start resigning your own guys, and this is without me saying, hey, we're going to defer this guy's salary and this guy's salary until 2025 or 6. We're going to do some things to pay you less here and this guy more here so we can try to balance out the books. And there's a lot of things if you're going to get creative with the booking side of balancing the sheets that you can do to try to help alleviate some money. The salary cap, if you're skilled with it, as it is with any league, it can be almost non-existent if you so desire to push paychecks off from player A to player B from year 1 to 2, etc. But Mike Evans would definitely give us another dimension. It's just how much you're going to pay him with you're having Laporta, St. Brown, Jamison Williams. At some point, if you're paying them all, you don't have a lot of money to pay other spots. All right, Boo, what do you got? Music-wise, what are the types we would do? Let's see, if we get the tailgate event to happen next year at a game, and we can get the Motor City Dew crew to perform at the tailgate, you guys let me know what type of music you guys want to do. I mean, really, I'm just happy to get people out there playing. So that would be my first thing. All right, Robert G., good morning, Dan and crew. Back at you, buddy. Hopefully you're having a great one. Jason, Jonas Jackson to Washington. We pick up Kendall Fuller. that would be an option. You would help strengthen that defense. And I would say at that point, Jason, we should probably anticipate one of the first 2-round picks going for an interior offensive lineman. So just a thought. Eduardo, I'd rather see DJ Shark. He'd be cheaper and already has chemistry with Goff. I know that got tossed around the last few days. There's different reports about that potential. I would say Josh Reynolds in this scenario that you point out there, Eduardo, is probably not returning Detroit if you go ahead and make that move. There'd just be too many people to feed as far as contract wise, and too much money, I would think at least, invested into one position, the wide receiver room. All right, Moonscar, morning, Dew crew. Sad to see Walker get cut, but our younger safeties are better. Yeah, 100%. When you saw maybe begrudgingly Aaron Glenn, I know some people say he's stubborn. I say he's stubborn. You guys go with your own thoughts on it. But when they finally made the move from Tracy Walker to the bench and Ife Melifano to the field, let's be real fair and as unbiased as we can be. That defense, especially in the coverage, got exponentially better. I think if we would have made the move sooner, we probably don't lose the Thanksgiving Day game. And I'm not going to worry about any other games. Give Tracy Walker his due. They gave him an opportunity. The guy had been something prior to his injury in Detroit. But sort of like you pointed out, Moonscar, the younger guys just passed them by. When they got the window of opportunity to get out there, they all grabbed and seized that moment, and they held on. And I would struggle to think of more than 1% of the fan base that looks out at the safeties and say, yeah, Tracy Walker should be out there. It's just, to me, the difference between Iffy and Tracy was so large and massive in what they could do and the flexibility it provided for the defense to now be able to cover in different schemes, different scenarios, different types of coverages, and then, of course, the blitzing aspect. And that's the one thing I would say Tracy Walker probably could have done just as well as Iffy is the blitz. But he was just never given the opportunity. So then you really used him in a limited capacity. I'll probably forever boil in my Mountain Dew off that first play against Green Bay on Thanksgiving when they brought Tracy Walker from his preferred position, which is basically the upfront linebacker at the line, safety at the line, and dropped him into coverage. And give Green Bay credit. Once they saw that and they brought Kirby Joseph up to the line instead, they audibled into that deep shot. And you know what? From there, the Lions defense was on their heels most of that first half. All right, Boo. I wouldn't mind Shark. No, I think I'm with you on that. Most fans, I would anticipate, Boo, would be okay with DJ making a return. All right, John King, morning, coach. This is the business side of sports. It stinks. Walker will get picked up. Does affect the hometown discount when we ask for it. Tracy Walker probably will sign with somebody. It's probably going to be a far lesser deal. It would be my anticipation, but I've been wrong before, that his days as a starting safety in the NFL are probably over, if not pretty close to. I just, again, and not to beat up the guy, he seems like a real good guy, a great teammate. It's just he does not have coverage skills. And I would think in today's day and age, with so many teams passing the ball all over the place, you've got to be able to defend the pass and then come up and support the run. All right, Susan, what do you got? Agrees, salutations all. I don't think the team is going to keep Jackson. Could resign Shark if we were to get a team-friendly deal. It is possible. And in Shark's, let's be fair, his last few seasons in the league, he's been fairly injured. So is somebody going to invest big money into a guy that's got a questionable availability rate? I'm guessing his price tag's going to come down a wee bit from last year when he left Detroit. So if he comes back, yes. And as much as I like Jonah Jackson, I think the ultimate thing is at some point, you only have so much money to go around. Are you going to re-sign Taylor Deckard? If so, as far as to a few more years, how much are you going to invest there? How much are you going to invest in St. Brown? You can go around the team, and there's some financial responsibilities coming up either this offseason or next. And if you're paying the offensive line so many guys on it so much, same with the wide receiver room, there's less funds to go around to other spots. It's the burden of the success of the drafts is that a lot of these guys are coming up on new contracts, and you're going to have to start anticipating who do we have to keep, who can't we keep. I hate to say it, but I think Jonah Jackson is gone. I think it's going to be real difficult to re-sign him. And I do think you're going to have to probably draft his replacement this year. Been wrong before, though. If they re-sign him, maybe somebody else is showing the door. All right, Eduardo, if we are spending money, it needs to be D line and cornerbacks. I don't want to hear about anything else. Okay, fair enough. And you know what? I get it. We want to get defensive pass rush. We want to get the ability to defend the pass better. So I totally understand. Oh, Hookadoo. Good morning, Coach Dan and the Do crew. Good morning to you, Hookadoo, and hopefully you're having a great one. Go Lions. Eduardo, this team has two major issues, and if they don't fix them, we aren't going to go anywhere. Yeah, it'll be if the pass coverage doesn't get a wee bit better along with the pass rush. I get your point, especially in our division as it looks next year. It's going to be difficult. The other part is you're going to have to balance out that offensive line. You've got to keep that a strength. Otherwise, Goff goes down, probably gets sacked a lot more, and the running game is probably going to suffer. So keep your strength strong. Figure out the rest. That would be my best advice. All right, Boo. A lot of smoke out there. Brad Holmes will surprise us all. Yeah, I would concur. I do believe the more you look at Brad Holmes, his pressers, the press releases, the tidbits that are leaked out here and there, I do believe the vast majority of it is smoke and mirrors, as you put, Boo. A lot of it is missing information. Yes, there are teams. In all the decades I've covered the Lions, either for the Associated Press or individual newspapers or TV stations, whatever, you do have to take any kind of leak with a grain of salt. So whether I still get them now and try to break them to you guys or whatever, you guys have to also understand just because I'm told something doesn't mean that's going to happen. It also can easily mean that the team wants that information out there. They want teams and individuals to move their eyes here so they don't see the misdirection over there. So some teams do it a lot more than others. Some regimes do it a lot more than others. I can tell you, Schmidt, he didn't even bother with it. He didn't really care if you knew anything or not. So if he was thinking about going after player A or B or drafting whoever, he didn't care. I mean, what are you going to do about it was his philosophy. And that wasn't the case with Matt Millen. Matt Millen didn't want anybody to know anything. He thought he was the smartest dude in the room, and that's also part of what hurt him. He probably really knew football better than most of us watching this. But you know what? He always listened to the wrong people when it came to the draft and probably free agency as well. In regards to Brad Holmes, I think he's the best I've seen, at least in my time as a reporter, just because he's constantly trying to keep you guessing where he's going. He does not want anybody outside of Ford Field having any kind of clue what direction he's going to go in. And give him credit for that, because it does make it very hard for us to predict the draft, free agency, or what's going to happen next. All right, Moonscar. Yes, D-line and corners, exclamation point. Rodrigo isn't going anywhere. No, I would agree. Everything you just said there. D-line needs a little bit more beefing. Same with the cornerbacks. And Rodrigo, you wouldn't save any money by getting rid of the guy. So why do it, especially since he can affect so much of the game. All right, let's see. Miller, what do you got? Greetings, salutations. I agree. At Moonscar, Blade Rodrigo will go nowhere. Why cut him? Question mark. He's good and doesn't cost anything. Yeah. So to your point, why get rid of him? The only thing he really can't do is punt or kick or throw the football. I mean, he can catch the football. He can tackle the football. He can, gun down the sidelines or up the middle. So I get it. Spencer, good morning. Spend that money from Walker on a corner, someone who can help now. I get it. Yeah, now it will be one of the biggest things. I know a lot of people do not want to draft and then try to start a cornerback who's a rookie, just because more often than not, as we all know, it takes time for those guys to kind of mature into NFL corners, where this team appears to be ready to win now. So I guess with that being said, here's the real question. Brad Holmes comes from the Rams. Do we say skip them picks and just go out after some veterans to try to win this season? You guys debate that and let me know. Moonscar, like Eduardo said, Rodrigo plays all three phases now and is cheap. Yeah, 100%. Dave, what do you got? Yeah, I don't think Rod would be a goner. Just does too much for the team. Yeah, I think we all pretty much agree with that. Southwest, good morning all. Rodrigo is a valuable part of this team at a low cost. You're going to need more players like him because your better players need to be paid to be kept. Yes, and therein lies the problem. I know we've talked about it in the last few weeks on the show. If the Lions do actually go after a big name free agent, to me, that's probably a stronger indication that you're going to trade back and down this year's draft and maybe even for the next year's draft to get draft picks, just because you're going to have to find ways to shave money off this roster. And to me, that's going to be no easy task because so much of this team are first, second, or third year players that are still on lower end contracts. You're going to have to shave some money off, but where do you shave it from? And the only spots I can think of is, I don't even want to bring this up, is basically the quarterback or maybe some veteran running back. The defense is pretty lean already, and I just don't see a bunch of spots out there where you could effectively shave money. So, it's going to be a difficult task to keep higher end talent here while keeping the talent low. So, to me, the easiest way to do it is to trade your higher round draft picks for more multiple round lower draft picks, just for the cap implications and how you could save money that way. All right, Hookadoo. Someone wake me up when the preseason starts. Go Lions. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Only a couple more months away, right? Robert G, I feel excitement in the chat today. Woo! There you go. And yes, people are up here, man. We're moving and shaking. And if you guys are enjoying today's video, don't be afraid to subscribe or hit the like button. All right, Eduardo. I can't believe people are really saying that Branch is better than Devin Weatherspoon. Like Branch plays the slot and Devin plays outside corner. I'm sorry, but Devin's all the way. Yep. Devin, it's all the way. Yeah. And they're different styles for sure. And I'm not going to say I've done a deep dive or investigation, piece, watching the film, the hips, the elbows on Weatherspoon. I've seen him a little bit here and there. The guy looks legit. So I can't really say I have an opinion one way or the other because I don't have enough information. So I'll let everybody else debate that one. Jason, greetings, salutations, everyone. Hard to easily think of anyone else on the team who needs to cut. Am I wrong here? No. If people have somebody I'm not thinking of, go ahead and let us know in the comments section. But, man, thinking of somebody as obvious as Walker, I guess I should say, is a real tall order at this point. All right, Robert, only time will tell. Yeah, 100%. So most of Branch is good. No, I'm not going to say he's better than D. Wither. All right, fair enough. That's fair. All right, Eddie, with the Lions, will the Lions trade a player to save cap space? Question mark. Good morning, all. That I'm trying to think who you would trade though that you would save cap space. I mean, the only spot I'm able to easily think of is the quarterback spot, and I just to be completely upfront, I don't see Jared Goff going anywhere from the Detroit Lions. Yes, I get you trade him or whatever, you're saving buku millions and stuff, but I don't see the team doing that this year just because you would really be all in on Hendon Hooker at that point. Yes, it would free up whatever, 30 million this year and 40, 45 the upcoming years. But I don't see that happening, man. All right, Dale, Grease Sanitation's Dew Crew. Any legs to the K Mac rumors, Dan? Question mark. Apparently he might be available via trade for a 2025 fifth round pick. I'd do that if I were Holmes. Have a great Dew Wednesday. Thanks for that, Dale, and hopefully you have a Dew Wednesday as well. I don't know K Mac's salary cap implications if you acquire him. And I think right now with the Lions, at least what I did earlier in the show, top my noggin, trying to do some base math. If you go after him, and fifth rounder, I'd probably take a flyer on him. I'd probably try to say, all right, we'll give you a fifth, but you've got to give us him and a 2024 or 25 seventh, something like that, so I don't lose the same amount of picks. But to me, the big problem is going to just be the cap number. So I don't know what he gets paid right now, but if the Lions do sign St. Brown, your cap number, you're going to be down to about 40 million in available cap. You're going to have to keep, like I said earlier, about 10 or so for the draft picks and some other in-season stuff. And I just think it starts becoming a problem with where are you going to go? What are you going to be able to do and to maneuver to keep your cap flexibility? Totally could go for him. I have not heard anything concrete that I would say I feel like, hey, this is a real strength or possibility for the team. But maybe I'm wrong. How about this, Dale? I'll do some looking into it today or tomorrow and see what I can uncover and go from there. All right, Troy, what do you got? Rodrigo is cheap on his rookie deal. He's not going to be able to let go. No, yeah, 100% agree with that. Yeah, he's too valuable and the cost is just too effective for the team. All right, Brent, good morning, Coach and Dew Crew. Thanks for your service, Mike and Marine and Boo, Mike the Marine and Boo Booth. Go Army, beat Navy. Fair enough, man. And yeah, thank you all, anybody in the chat or anybody, man, just watching the show. If you've been in the armed forces, if you work for the government or whatever, thank you all for what you guys do. You guys don't get enough praise, enough recognition. Same with, police, first responders, anything like that, man. If you're in that kind of brotherhood and family, everybody, man, just if you see someone today, just say thanks to them because you know what? It is thankless jobs and they don't get enough praise. Boo, Brent, Chuckles, there you go. All right. Dale, yes, indeed. Thanks for your military service. All 100%, 1000%. Phil, good morning. Good morning to you, Philly. And I hope you're having a great day, man. Ken, Green Sanitation's Dan and Dew Crew. Micro Mike gave a list of 4 Lions he said would be shocked if Lions cut. Rodrigo was on that list. That's all it is, just a rumor. Yeah, I just don't see any, from a coaching standpoint, let alone a financial front office standpoint, any reason why Rodrigo would be even a list. But, somebody obviously put him out there. All right, Silver Surfer, they better keep Rodrigo. He's a heck of a player who needs those. Yeah, same as Kaminsky. Yeah, 100%. He's one of those grinders. And again, cost effective. So can you really bring somebody else in to supersede them at a lower cost? I would argue probably not. Again, hit the like button, people, exclamation point. That is all. Thanks for that, Ken. And hopefully people listen to Ken. All right, Mile Marker, good morning. Finally, movement on the roster. Tracy is a nice guy. Wish him well. 100%. Yeah, nothing but outstanding guy from the time he's been here. It's just that time has come to an end due to financial considerations. Wish him well. Wish his career nothing but the best. But unfortunately, it is a business, and he's on the wrong side of the dollar amount. Phil, give me some stock tips, Dan. I would tell you this. I'm anticipating the market to still go down today and maybe the next couple of days. When we get closer to April, I'm expecting a stagnant market going into the election, so not really going up or down. And after that, we'll wait and see. I don't want to really give too much advice on that because I don't. That's for a different channel. All right, Brent, do you think the commish is in danger of getting cut due to his less than stellar season? Kaminsky, you mean? I'm guessing if you're thinking Kaminsky, then yes, I do think he has some potential because he did not have a great year. And while his cap number isn't huge, could they look to free up space there, especially if they deem some of the younger players on a little bit cheaper rates as better options going forward? Then yes, 100%, Brent. And hopefully you're feeling well. Donovan, his play, all right. Cut Reynolds, fair enough. So Josh Reynolds is unrestricted free agent. Craig Reynolds, I don't think he's got any time left on his contract. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is one more year. So I'll have to look on that, Donovan. Civil servant Martin Luther King had a big dream, and we can all go with that. I also have a little dream. Lions win the Super Bowl with a Badgley kick as time expires. Boy, wouldn't that be something if Badgley ends up being the guy who wins the Super Bowl for you in the clutch moment. So for Badgley, I don't really know the guy, but I don't know anything bad about him either. I would say let's go with that because it means the Lions win the Super Bowl. And, man, apparently we've got a kicker capable of hitting the game winners. All right, Hookadoo. Brad just did what he has to do, 100%. With Tracy Walker, a T-Walk, yeah, it's a business decision. It wasn't personal. It's business. All right, Phil, heard rumors of Brad failing, not knowing how to handle cap space. Is the media turning on Brad and the Lions? I think this time of year, Phil, media is just looking for something to write about. So, and you see that in the YouTube stuff. I mean, I'll put it this way. Like 2 or 3 days ago, I did a video called Checkmate. And Brad Holmes is playing chess, not checkers. And then one of you guys sent me a clip saying, hey, some guy just, used your thumbnail, basically put chessmate on it and stuff like that. And hey, it's part of reporting, journalism, YouTube or whatever. This time of year, people struggle to come up with topics or stories. So you're going to see a lot of people try to, either borrow ideas or thought points, topics, whatever you want to say from other people. Or as you're pointing out, Phil, the media might just try to invent something just to have something to talk about. Because at the end of the day, they need viewers to come on in. Otherwise, they don't have advertisement, which means they can't pay people, which means people are unemployed. So I don't think Brad Holmes is failing in the salary cap, understanding or whatever. I think that's just somebody just trying to make a story. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's going to blow up the boat. All right, mile marker. Miles. What do you got? Stumperfy. This is a combat Marine veteran household. 100%. There is. And for all those who have served, thank you so much. Bergs, Reynolds is a free agent. Donovan. 100%. All right, Silver, good luck, Tracy. You are already a millionaire. If you no longer play, you can always go on holidays as much as you wish. As long as he takes care of his money. I mean, as we all know, if you're my age or greater, or probably even younger, you're aware there's a lot of athletes, or just a lot of people, I should say, that unfortunately burn through their finances and, they're in a bad spot. That's never fun to see. I don't get the impression Tracy Walker's that person, but I also don't know him. All right, Silver, and good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, too. Hopefully you're having a great one. Doug, some of these players will have an opportunity to re-sign for a little less if they continue with better D-line coach and better defensive back coach. They can get a championship. Yeah, 100%. I do wonder on our defensive line if maybe with the new defensive line coach, and if they can be built up a little bit, if you will see some movement as far as the roster into next season. As far as the cornerback room, I think we all probably agreed they're going to have to add some talent there, and we'll see where that takes us. Brent, Army and Navy family here. Dad was on the Coral Sea during Korean War. Yeah, my father was a tank commander for Korea. That's a story for another show, but apparently a little piece of shrapnel got into one of the tanks and hit him in a place you don't want to get hit as a guy. We'll put it that way. So he took one for the team. All right, let's see. Doug, Tracy was overpaid because at the time he was a better player on a 3-13-1 team. We got Branch now, and if he finally getting his opportunity, best players play. Yeah, and that's the way it should be. From a coaching standpoint, personnel standpoint, front office standpoint, loyalties, I mean, we all want to be loyal. You develop relationships with players. People, you get to know them as more than just an X and an O. At the end of the day, though, you have to constantly do what's best for the team. And that means sometimes somebody who was a starter gets supplanted. And it stinks. It sucks. It can be emotionally debilitating. But you know what? That is life. We all rise. And unfortunately, at some point, we all tend to slip back and fall a little bit. and that also means somebody else rises beyond us. Taylor made none of these decisions personal. The NFL is a business. It is 100%. And you know what? It's so much a business. I'll let you repeat that. All right. Phil, is Campbell a liability at this point? We keep hearing of guys going to have breakout games. How long do we wait? You mean Jack Campbell? If that's the case, I mean, he just finished his rookie year. So what I would say to you, Phil, is, at least in my opinion, your opinion can be 1,000% different. He definitely developed over the course of the year. Did he do it as noticeably as Branch or Gibbs or Laporta? Probably not, but that doesn't mean he won't be good. I mean, heck, we've been talking about Iffy. Look at him his rookie year versus now. Barnes, and the list goes on and on. But I think Jack Campbell's going to be a pretty fine linebacker. That doesn't mean he's going to get a gold jacket and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame or anything, but I think, could he potentially be an all-pro player? Yeah, I think it's there. If he cleans up his coverage ability, I think that's right now his biggest weakness. His tackling and going forward, his reading of the gaps, that seems pretty sound. It's going to get better, obviously, with more and more experience and reps, but he is going to have to clean up some of his zone coverage ability, man-to-man coverage. I mean, depends on how they're going to use him and who they're going to have him on, but you get the gist. Doug, Cam Sutton has a lot of money and dead cap. He is mostly the one where Jerry Jacobs and he were trying to cover the number one. Yeah, and therein lies the problem. I think we all bemoaned Jerry Jacobs most of the season because when he was out there, teams just went at him more, and we all assumed, man, Cam Sutton's he's the dude, he's the truth, whatever you want to say, because he just wasn't being targeted. Once Jacobs was pulled out, though, and therein lies also the other part to consider. Cam Sutton was asked to travel more in man-to-man coverage and got exposed against other teams' number ones. He's just not that corner. I think an argument can be made he's a number 3 or number 2 corner. He's probably far better in zone than he is man. All that being said, he's not bad, and he was probably at that point the best corner we had on the team overall. It's just he's not able to cover other teams' true number ones. So he got exposed. Taylor made, I agreed. Yep. Bergs, Sutton will be fine as the number 2 or 3. He was playing out of position this year, injuries wise. He never complained, just kept playing. It was a tough task, so I'm cutting him some slack this year. He will be much. Yeah, he will be much better. Yeah, in the following years. Yeah, that toe heals up, and he's used it as you put out a number 2 or 3. I think he'll be okay. Dominic. Good morning from Texas. Lions first Super Bowl, 13-4. Just need a few more pieces to win it all. Let's go Lions, 1,000%. You know what, Taylor? I feel like I'm having deja vu here. JP, good morning, Lions faithful and Duke crew. Back at you. Hopefully on a great one. Doug, Rodrigo is a great special teams player. Tackling is one of the areas that will determine who stays and doesn't. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Big time. Silver Star, they better keep Houston as well. Otherwise, I'll have another reason to be upset. I won't lose any sleep because life is too important, but I'll be upset. Yeah, I'm going to guess they're going to try to re-sign him and get him onto a deal. They do have exclusive rights, so we'll see what happens. Mile Marker Shark, is he available? He is. Ed, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Love it. Nobody knows what Brad is thinking or doing. What's next? And that's the big question. Where does he go from here? And like I talked about earlier in the show, Ed, I don't think he wants anybody to know. And he wants everybody to keep guessing where he's going, what he's going to do. And you know what? I think he's doing a great job of it. Donovan Reynolds is limited to come back. Yeah, too limited to come back. Fair enough. We'll go with that, Donovan. All right, Ed, Hooker trade or bust. There we go. Fair enough. All right, let's see if somebody can offer us a couple firsts or something. That would be great. Of course, then you got to find a new backup quarterback. Surfer, what do you got? Mitchell is good. Next year, it'll be his, I believe. He already dealt with terrible luck, relatively speaking. Yeah, and he keeps coming back. I mean, remember, coming out of college before the injury, he was highly regarded. I mean, that doesn't mean he was going to be a first or second round pick, but he probably would have been a higher level pick than where he was because of the ACL injury. He's got wheels. He's got blocking ability. He's got size. So wait and see. At the end of the day, is he ever going to supplant Sam Laporta? that might be a tall order to ask, but that doesn't mean he can't be a valuable backup. Ed W., in your view, which is the biggest need, cornerback, defensive end, or O-line? My view, defensive end, then O-line, then cornerback. I'm a firm believer if you can get to the quarterback in a hurry, you know what? You can make some average cornerbacks look pretty decent. If you cannot put pressure on a quarterback, great cornerbacks can look pretty bad in a New York minute. And then offensive line, just because of some of the age, the price tags, you want to keep your strength strong. Yeah, I think you got to address that. Taylor, yeah, Roy Hobbs, yeah, one of the greatest of all time, right? Who doesn't remember him hitting the cover off the ball and knocking out the lights in dramatic fashion? Phil, 20 for a guard. I could see that. I mean, look at what Glasgow is going to command. He's going to get somewhere between 11 and 14 mil. And most people would say because he's, 33, 34, and at the point in his career where he's probably more conducive to being a backup on most teams, not all teams. But yeah, I could see Jonah getting somewhere closer to 20 mil. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be 18 mil, but you get the gist. It's going to be up there. All right, Doug, who knows who will and who won't be available at 29 or whatever spot we ultimately pick at. We need a guard. We need to replace the Aquarius D line and who our bugs was. We are fine at wide receiver, in your opinion. Yep. Wide receiver, I'd say we're pretty set. Doesn't mean you couldn't sign somebody like an existing free agent, or maybe, like I said, Green, who was a rookie last year, steps up to take one of the spot. I think we've got some real options there. Lions talk with the bad guy. Let's see. As long as the players we grade, all right, or we'll go with that. All right. Southwest, Mike Evans is not coming to Detroit. If he leaves Tampa Bay, he wants to get paid. Plus, there are bigger priorities for the Lions to address than adding another receiver. Yeah, I would say there's a lot of truth to that, Southwest, 100%. Lions talk with the bad guy. As long as the players we get is an upgrade in don't care, don't kill, our money don't. Yeah, and I think most of us would agree that Brandon Holmes is going to be pretty calculating with where he spends the money and how he uses the team's resources. So I don't think he's going to overload one particular spot. All right, Anthony, good morning, Duke Crew, Super Bowl or bust, exclamation points. Back at you, buddy. Hopefully you're having a great day. Hookadoo, classic rock, coach. We'll go with that. Maybe we can mix up classic rock, some other music there. Try to appease a little bit of everybody, give everybody their just due as far as music and sound. But you know what? Whatever the Motor City Duke Crew can play, and you know what? Let's go with that, because that's probably got to be the bottom line. If the band can't play it, it's probably going to be tough to get them to do something else. All right, Doug, listen, J-Mo is on the cusp. He blocks. He takes hits. He is supportive. Brings swagger. St. Brown, Laporta, J-Mo, and Gibbs. If there is a stud wide receiver available, okay. If not, we have holes to reinforce. Yeah, I agree with that. You got to try to round out some of the team, keep your strength strong, but also make some of your weaknesses a little stronger. Ed, clean house, exclamation point. Make room, exclamation point. Add to cap. Sign free agents. Fair enough. Phil, Mitchell gone. Do we sign another tight end? Question mark. I don't think we're going to get rid of James Mitchell, just because, like I alluded to earlier, you cut him. I get you're going to save $1 million, but how much of that $1 million are you now going to have to reinvest into either a veteran or a rookie? To me, it's just you're fighting over peanuts at that point. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can free up 300,000, 400,000, 500,000. I just don't see that's going to be easy to do and keep the same level of play out of the player. All right, Mike, excited to see what Brad Holmes can bring if he isn't outbid. Yeah, 1,000%. And you know what? At some point, some teams may overpay, but that also means other players who get left behind, their price tags come down. So that's another thought. All right, Brett, when Walker came back from injury, I thought he looked a half a step slower. He may have. I mean, he's coming back from Achilles. So, yeah, it could take a while for him to regain all of his speed. But again, there lies the problem. He was never great in coverage to begin with. Now, as you're alluding to, maybe he's getting a little slower off the injury. Therein lies the problem. Phil, Shark never plays a full year. He's hurt most of the time. Yeah, and that's also going to affect his asking price, I would think. Surfer, I hope they bring back Donovan Peoples-Jones. I liked his skills, movement, age and body type. But then again, only if he does not cost a lot. He may be looking for good offers. It might be his last contract. Shark? No. Okay, fair enough. And good points on all those. Don Kong, Super Bowl or bust. There we go now. Thank you for that, Donkey. Fred, good morning. It's a great day to be a Lion. Exclamation point. One pride. Exclamation point. And you're 100% right with that, Fred. Good call. All right, Eduardo. Let's have a day, people. March is almost here. It's around the corner, ain't it? And you know what? With March, something starts happening in March. All right, Eduardo, if we don't bring CJ back, we might draft Walker. Yeah, wait a minute. If we don't bring CJ back, we might draft Walker. All right, fair enough. Safety. Yeah. Doug, this Walker release is like a warning to other free agents of ours. You need to be reasonable or move on. Yeah, I'd go with that. Yeah, I knew where you were going with that, Doug, with reasonable. Yeah. Eduardo, do you think teams are talking with agents even though it's not, quote, legal right now? Boy, I would never think that would happen. I'll put it this way. I do believe it probably happens. Yes. Yeah, they probably just don't want to do it in text. All right, Southwest Line. Are we giving up too quickly on Antoine Green? You too. Who knows? He could develop into something. He has a lot of speed. No, I think he's one of the potential replacements for Josh Reynolds if he moves on, and other players. I think he's got some real possibilities there. Agreed, 100%. Eduardo. Yeah, here you go. All right, let's see. Donovan, you can't draft all defense. That's how you miss out on half Hall of Fame talent. Yeah. Based on what Rand Holmes has done with each of the first three drafts, I think they're going to draft some defense. Sure. Do I think they're going to go all defense? No, because then you're negating half the team. And as we all know, you've got to juggle costs and age. There's a lot of factors going to it. So I don't believe it will be an all defensive draft. Is that so you glad Walker finally decided who will be next to leave? That's the big question. I know we've thrown out some names today. Who's going to be on that list at the end of the day? Ultimately, we'll have to wait and see, man. All right, Phil, not one person in the chat knows anything about this team. No, we're all speculating. Doesn't mean we really know what's going to happen. No. And Brad Holmes wants it that way. Let's be honest about that. Doug, Jonah will be one of the keys. All right. How we replace him? There are going to be options of that offensive line stronger, but at a better cost. Free agents draft, re-sign Glasgow. Yeah, and I think the draft will be a big part of it because I think with the draft, you definitely know the cost and you can save a wee bit of cash there. I do think there's some potential. Glasgow's back. Yes, I agree with you there. All right, a couple more here, and then I got to get off the air before the contractors arrive to hopefully finish everything they didn't get done yesterday. Eduardo, I will question it because us and KC rebuilt our defense in the same time frame. They have a top 5 defense. Our defense is still 27. I get that, man, and that's a fair point. Gary, good morning, Duke Crew. Good news. I'll be laying down the first track of our first song for the Duke Crew band called Hooker 2025. I'm hoping Bergs will be the lead singer for it. Fair enough. I can't wait to hear the song, man. Wardo, defense non-negotiable. It has to be the worst 12th next year. Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. Bergs, really Phil, do tell. Fair enough. Anthony, I've watched something on bets. I believe Brad Holmes found another diamond in the rough. Didn't realize he was in the Bears training camp a few years ago. Yeah, I want to say it was 2019 or 2020, somewhere right around there. Yeah, he was at the final cuts before they let him go. Eduardo, the best guard in the game, makes $15 million. Jonah won't ask for more than that. It's just my guess. Based on where I'm projecting prices go, he might ask for 20, get 17 or 18. I don't know, but you get the idea. He's going to get paid. All right, Taylor, great call on the reporting game. Yeah, no worries, man. It's part of it, man. Phil, Dan, when do you start your job at Woodward? Probably not, man. Probably not. We'll put it that way. I have talked to a particular provider about doing more journalism, but I'm not going to be working for Woodward doing Lions sports talk. It would be more the company I'm going to work for in association with the Associated Press. It would be for journalistic reasons, not whatever you want to call YouTube or, on camera media. So go with that. All right, Doug, what do you got? I keep saying that too. He blocks, plays special teams, has the right attitude and the size. Yeah, and I'm assuming Rodrigo there. Yep, Doug Green, wide receiver. Yeah, I think he's going to be stepping up into a bigger role this upcoming year. All right, is that so you? I enjoy seeing after the draft what misdirection teams had been doing. Haha, yeah, and they do it all the time. And that's where one thing with YouTube in the last year and a half or whatever I've been on here, it's been a little telling to me where people. I get most people haven't worked in sports or worked in the media or whatever, so you could see where, especially probably younger people who maybe haven't been around the game in one capacity or another as much, are really caught off guard by some of the misdirection teams do. And that's not a shot on them or anything. It just means they've never seen it before or experienced it. But teams are constantly trying to keep everybody, all the fans, let alone the other GMs and front offices in their respective leagues, off balance as to what their true intentions are. If I'm the Chicago Bears, it does me absolutely zero good to come out and say we're keeping Justin Fields or moving on from Justin Fields, because that keeps the costs higher for either that first pick if you're going to trade out or for Justin Fields. So they're going to misdirect that and keep that in-house as best they can. I know I've heard some reports saying, hey, they probably already told Fields one way or the other. I'd say that's BS. There is no chance they're going to let a 24-year-old kid have the opportunity to mess up and leak it out in social media if they're happy or pissed about upset about their potential future. So, yeah, just food for thought. All right, guys, it's been almost an hour. Sorry to cut it off a little earlier today, but as you guys know, we've got some contractors coming over, finishing some stuff up with the windows today. So I got to get off the air, get things ready on my end for that. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making a push to get to 5,900 subs, and we're about 60 or so away from that. If you like today's video or other videos, hit the thumbs up button. Otherwise, I'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.